Hello, and welcome to the 7th episode of Stong Tank with Snowflake. In today's episode, we will be talking about offshore bank accounts and why you, the normal person, should consider moving a portion of your stimmy check overseas. Usually when you hear offshore bank accounts, you think of the shady one percenters ducking the IRS from paying taxes. Though not all of this assumption is true. You see, offshore bank accounts are perfectly legal, though you must disclose them to the IRS. If you don't disclose them to the IRS, then say hello to possible tax evasion, tax fraud, money laundering, perjury charges. Like, you got to report offshore bank account to the IRS, unless, you're a dummy. You're a dummy if you don't report it to the IRS. But offshore bank accounts are important nowadays because inflation is inevitable. And by putting your money into foreign currency, you protect yourself from inflation. Now you may ask, Snowflake, why are you talking about this? This isn't investing and stuff. But technically, maybe it might be considered investing because, you're putting your money into a foreign currency. Anyway, here's some wise words from Jerome Powell, who works inside the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is responsible for printing money. Printing money equals inflation.
Our longer-run goal continues to be an inflation rate of 2%. Our statement emphasizes that our actions to achieve both sides of our dual mandate will be most effective if longer-term inflation expectations remain well anchored at 2%.
If you're wondering what the source was, that was Bloomberg Markets and Finance on YouTube. But yeah, so basically you got to expect 2% inflation each year on your dollar. Not too bad. And then you realize, dang, in 10 years, at that rate, inflation will be 20%. And then 20 years, at that rate, inflation will be 40%. And then when we're all wrinkly and old, in 50 years, at that rate, inflation will be 100% from where it is now. I mean, there will actually be a time where we're living and we go into a supermarket and we see the top ramen. And each top ramen brick might be $1 instead of like a quarter, But yeah, believe it or not, all it takes is $500 to $1,000 to set up your very own offshore bank account. That's right, with one stimmy check, you can open up your own offshore bank account. The best country, in my opinion, to set up an offshore bank account for tax benefits is the Cayman Islands. This is because there are certain tax loopholes for putting your money in the Cayman Islands. Though you gotta hire an accountant if you choose to go down this route, because you want to distance, even though it's your money, you want to distance yourself from the responsibility. If any shit hits the fan, you want to be able to be like, yeah, I have an accountant, here's his number, go check him out. But whatchamacallit. Also, the nice thing about the Cayman Islands is 55% of the Cayman Islands GDP is financial services, such as banks. Like, for example, look at these charts. The US dollar used to be worth 1.17 euros in 2001, 20 years ago. Now, the US dollar is worth 0.81 euros. That's right, your US dollar shitcoin has dropped 0.36 euros in the last 20 years. Now, look at the Cayman Island dollar. In 2010, the Cayman dollar was worth up to 1.24 US dollars. Now, the Cayman dollar is worth 1.2 US dollars. I don't know about you, but I want my money to go longer. And especially for Californians out there, make your life easier legally. Consider opening up a foreign bank account. And in life, it's all about working smarter, not harder. Though you should always work your hardest. Now you may ask, Snowflake, you make a great case for offshore bank accounts. Do you have one? My answer to that As of right now, no. I've considered it. Don't get me wrong. But I just want to make my taxes a little bit easier right now. Maybe in the new year, but we will see. But don't get me wrong with all this stimulus going on for the U.S. citizens. A lot of people need it, though you must understand the government may be giving out free money right now. It's not free in the long term. We will be paying for these stimulus bills for years to come in form of inflation and our debt in general. Like, have you seen the U.S. debt? Like, it's bad. Though, let's say you have some money on the side and you get your stimulus check. You should consider opening up an offshore bank account to skirt inflation. Here are a few things that you need to show the offshore banks to prove your identity, because they have set requirements in place to protect them from shady people joining their bank. You will need a copy of your passport, driver's license, as well as proof of address. So you need to show them a utility bill to prove that you live at that address. There will also be measures offshore banks will take to make sure you aren't committing tax evasion, tax fraud, money laundering. It is also worth hiring an accountant to do your taxes so you don't have to worry about a lot. I know this episode isn't about investing, but if you have money lying around, technically you are investing in our currency. And if you want to avoid inflation and not invest in Bitcoin or stocks or real estate to hedge inflation, this is literally the next best thing. I wish you the best of luck finding the best offshore bank account that suits you. As always, take care, stay safe. I'll see you the next time. This has been Stonk Tank with Snowflake, signing off.
Stonks.